I said, no, I don't need you in my life. I'm sorry. And if you're listening, I still don't need you, so don't text me.
I don't have Wi-Fi in my house, so that's another.
Last year, he signed a $50 million contract.
What?
You're just like, are you serious?
And they're all quiet, and they're like, thank you, God! And I'm like, for real, everyone hates it.
Are you going to breastfeed? I'm like, you're just standing next to me at the grocery store. Why are you talking about my boobs?
So if anyone's listening and they're pregnant, I really encourage you to talk to other moms because
that it's always the sister of the groom that is the most difficult.
Oh, like, I'm going to pay with cash the second time so nobody knows.
I feel very grateful that we live in a community where our leaders do listen.
Please drop it in our comments. We'd love to hear. Let us know how we can rally and support you and your small business. Welcome back to Girl Time in Reno. My name is Laura Garcia. I'm honored to be here with my co-hosts, Shonda Golden. Today we have our guest, Destinee Sanford, who owns Code Coffee. Thank you for joining us, Destinee.
Thank you.
And then to my right, I have Marva Dupree. On my left, I have Shivani Peterson and Bella Rios. Thank you for tuning back in with us. Today we have a lot of fun stuff to talk about. And I wanted to start off, I've been getting so many shout outs and inquiries and just people just reaching out and showing the love and asking, when are we going to talk about beauty and bridal? As the resident makeup artist, what are we, like 4 episodes deep now? 5 episodes deep, we haven't talked about it. I'm guilty. Sorry, guys. So today I actually thought it'd be the perfect time to talk about it. For my business, La Di Da Beauty, we have our annual workshop coming up. It's a once-a-year training that we do with all of our artists for our on-location team. So I've been deep in the throes of researching bridal trends and beauty trends and all things fun, and also like just what motivates us, what inspires us, team building. So lots of good stuff. I thought we could kind of dive in today. So I just wanted to ask you ladies, do any of you know someone who is set to get married in 2020? Marva, do you know anyone?
Not right offhand.
No?
I don't know anyone that's set to, real funny, that's set to get married, but both my daughters are in long-term relationships. And so, of course, I was like, oh my God. So my youngest said, oh my gosh, my boyfriend's going to propose. And I was like, really? Have you picked out a dress? And she said, yeah, here's the dress, Mom. I was like, oh my God, that dress is beautiful. And then I spoke to my oldest daughter that night.
Oh my
she
God.
said, my boyfriend is going to propose, in a couple years we're going to get married. And I was like, did you pick out a dress? It's like, I did, here's the dress. I kid you not, it's the same dress.
Oh,
What?
Oh my
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Dress. So, they might have to wear the same dress, but I thought that was really funny.
I love that. I love
That
that.
is funny.
I don't know anyone who was supposed to get married in 2020, but one of my best friends handles all the sales for a beautiful hotel here in town. And I just remember him calling me at night, almost in tears, having to talk to these brides, having to talk to the mothers. And he's like, I don't know what we're going to do. I honestly don't know how we're going to make it through everything. And he's like, I don't even want to pick up my phone anymore. And I'm like, I can't imagine.
I think the people that wanted to get married got married.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
were just like, screw it. And
Yes.
they were probably so excited that they didn't have to. Probably sad because the wedding was small, but then happy because then they could kind of, there's people that invite themselves to your own wedding.
Yes.
And that's so
Oh my God, the politics of
rude.
Yes.
Yes.
It'll like suck the will to be alive right out.
Yes. That's why I did Destination. You guys were all invited. If you guys wanted to go, you guys had to go pay to come to my wedding.
Smart.
We did the same thing.
Yeah,
We
that's
did
the way to
the
go.
same exact thing.
Yeah, if not, we would have had like 150 guest list. I'm not paying $50 per plate, and that's probably on the low end.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
For a coworker that thinks that she needs to come and be part of my wedding.
Well, and like when other than your wedding, do you have to rank your friends like in order to be your bridesmaids? And then you got to rank everybody you know to like how important they are to you to get an invitation. Where like it's such a wasted effort.
How many
Sex and the
people have
City is
lost
one
friends,
of like
huh?
my favorite shows of all time, and one of my favorite episodes is I think, is it Charlotte with the cute long hair? Yeah, Charlotte is getting married for the second time, and she's like, I'm so sorry, I don't want any bridesmaids. And they're all quiet, and they're like, thank you, God! And I'm like, for real, everyone hates it. It's like the best, most beautiful day, but it's stressful for everyone involved.
Unless you hire
Everybody.
La Di Da.
Yeah.
Yes, so true.
It is still, unless you have a good wedding planner, it is still very stressful.
It is.
And I don't care how good your girls are and how wonderful they are, you're going to have a little jealousy spike up. You're going to have those that lag. They don't
You
show
know
up
who it
on
always
time.
is.
You don't know exactly where they are. I mean, oh my God, that always happens. I don't care who the bride is. I have never dealt with a wedding party that one or two just, they showed up late. They have a lackadaisical attitude about you. Just like, are you serious?
And you lose friends. I lost one of my friends. She just was so jealous.
I
of
lost
everything
a friend too.
That I'm just
serious?
yeah. And then years later, she came back, and I'm like, no. You missed out on one of the most important times of my life. And I wasn't a bridezilla. I had a destination wedding. I just showed up, you know. And she was just. I said, no, I don't need you in my life. I'm sorry. And if you're listening, I still don't need you, so don't text me.
Okay.
End of
So
show.
obviously, everyone has a lot to say about weddings. But so before I forget, I have to say, inside scoop. So at La Di Da Beauty, we do over 100 weddings a year on location, and we have a running joke that it's always the sister of the groom that is the most difficult. She's either running late, or she doesn't want to participate, or she's being diva. She wants the same hairstyle as the bride. I mean, just the whole gamut.
Oh,
It could
God, I've
be
got some serious
any end of the
reflecting to do.
spectrum.
Laura, but speaking of La Di Beauty, you guys were nominated, right, for the Reno Gazette Journal.
Yes.
Best
Oh,
of
nice.
20.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so that was pretty awesome. I think you should point it out there.
Yes. So if you're watching this, voting is live. We were nominated for Best of Reno Hair Salon because we have two sides to our business. So we have our bridal side, and then we have a hair salon. So thank you so much, Bella. And yeah, if you're watching, please go on and vote.
you
We made
nominated?
top 5.
No.
I am nominated.
Oh, yes.
Mortgage lender.
Yes.
Mortgage lender. You're
So
killing it.
Yes. Look at
So voting is
I'm gonna
live
vote for you
through
anyways.
February
I'll write it
28th. February 28th. Make sure and go vote for your favorite businesses. There's so many great categories, and this is like the narrow top 5. And then I think, what is it, March they announce the winner?
Yeah, we still need more Latino businesses in there for the future, but
I think there are some. There's quite a few.
but there's so much more out there.
I'm up against a Latino business. Will you vote for me instead?
Yes, I will vote for you.
Who's up for
Who is
best
it though?
gunshot?
I don't think I saw that category. I would have voted for you.
Thank you.
Yes.
I probably don't know.
Yes. So getting back to weddings, 2020 was a hard year. So we do over 100 weddings a year, and we saw about 90% cancel. And it was hard. And I know everyone jokes like, oh, well, it's easier. You don't have to worry about guest lists or ranking brides, but it actually was a really difficult topic for a lot of our brides. Some of them have spent a whole year planning their wedding and spending a lot of money that they didn't get back.
Right.
And then also, some of them did choose to get married regardless, but then some of their loved ones weren't able to travel and be a part of it, even if it was a micro wedding. Right. And some of their loved ones passed away that would have been at their wedding this past year. So it's been really emotionally charged. And through COVID, we've seen a lot of new wedding trends emerging. So some of them are micro weddings, so less than 50 people.
Yep.
Not doing destination weddings, staying in your locale and giving them a destination feel to whatever like area, like whatever new venue you're going to use. And that's another trend that's been interesting to see, different types of wedding venues that weren't necessarily traditional, like boats and so many different ones. I'm blanking on it. Another big wedding trend is getting away from buffets, obviously, so more of that seated dinner. And then it was interesting to see all of the beauty trends, which really surprised me because I thought the beauty trends would all go towards being more natural, having like less is more. And what I saw for the beauty trends for Bridal 2021, and a lot of these stem from red carpet. So if you're watching this and you're not a bride, it's still applicable because it all interweaves. So for makeup, we're seeing metallic eyeshadow is a big one.
Is it smoky eyed or just metallic eyeshadow?
Metallic, like just metallic textures. So it could be glitter or even rhinestones, but really metallic, I think, is going to be the theme that we're seeing.
Okay.
Eyeliner is coming back with a vengeance. So everything from 90s eyeliner, like the whole top and bottom, to winged liners, to even graphic lines where the liner's on the eyelids. And we're seeing natural skin, so not really playing up a ton of like thick contouring or anything like that. It's really all about the eyes. And when it comes to the lip, a trend is a bold lip or like a lip stain. So that was really interesting. Oh, and then for the eyes, also bold colors like blues and like vibrant eyeshadow colors. So
what's
that was
the
so
lip?
fascinating.
Is it like a nude lip?
If you're doing up the eyes, yes, it's still the nude lip. But
Okay.
otherwise, the trend is to do a bolder lip or a lip stain.
And nudie eyes.
But does that look good in
Metallic eyes.
photos?
The more lip color looks better in the photos. So a lot of our brides we talk to, okay, so if you want to do the more dramatic eye and the more nude lip, like there's just different variations of nude for the camera. So you can still do the softer lip. You don't have to do like a bold red or a bold plum, but you can just do a softer, what you probably wouldn't consider nude in your everyday, but is just more that neutral tone.
So I love makeup. Like, I'm a makeup junkie. And I've gotten to an age where it's like, I don't want to experiment anymore. And I just have my palettes that
Shonda,
I like.
you look amazing. Keep doing what you're
Oh,
doing.
thanks. But it's the same look.
Yeah,
Because
it's
normally
working
I
for
would
you.
love to, like, I'd buy the latest palettes and everything else. So I feel like, I don't know, maybe this is my season, but I don't feel as compelled, I guess, to experiment with colors.
I think there's something about the season because, like, all through my 20s, I was obsessed. And when I was younger, like in college, I was always at MAC getting my makeup done.
Yeah.
And you know how you had to buy a certain amount
Yes,
of
yes.
I had like cases of makeup of MAC eyeshadows, and every day, well, in my last life, I worked in the salon industry, so every day, full face. And then I don't know if it was right around when I had kids or when I hit my 30s, but I was like, I literally never want to put eyeshadow on again.
Yeah, for me,
Well,
it's
So
my
much
30s.
time.
I think too, as our skin ages, it's less fun to put eyeshadow on our eyes. Let's just be real. And two, there's such an emphasis on lashes and brows now.
Yeah.
So if you have lash
true.
extensions and your brows done, you really don't need
Right.
eyeshadow as much.
So true.
What about the lipstick colors? I know they have really gotten bold with like the metallic green, blue, black.
I love the black. Every time I see the black, I'm like, I'm just showing up with black lipstick. Next time I go out, I know my husband will be pissed. I'll get it all over him.
I've tried it and it just does not look good.
I just,
There will always be a place, I think, for that. I think in the mainstream, we're not seeing so much the blacks and blues and green lipsticks, but there's definitely a certain demographic that, like, loves those vibrant hair colors, vibrant lip colors, so they'll always be in. But as far as like mainstream beauty and red carpet, we're not seeing a move to that as much. I would say we were seeing pops of color more in wigs. You know, everyone can kind of really easily change their hair color now, but yeah, less the poppy lips of like blues and greens and blacks, at least from my studying that I did this
Laura,
week.
are updos still the thing for weddings or?
Great question. Okay, so hair trends. Okay, so middle part is where it's at.
Okay.
Which goes to our last episode, that fun article we
do it
shared about
outside.
Gen
We're aging
Z.
ourselves.
Lived in texture. So
Okay.
not, you know, especially because I think
Amen.
of COVID, we're just, you know, we've been wearing our hair more natural. We've been going longer between appointments and using our natural texture more. So that lived in texture is more in. We're getting away from the braids. Braids are kind of on their way out.
Okay.
And yeah, and buns and chignons are in. So like the bun is back, whether it's a low bun, high bun, whatever. When it comes to
Interesting.
bridal,
How about this
buns with
wannabe Minnie
texture.
Mouse influencer look? Is
I
that
love it.
still-
Nailed it.
I think it's
are we at the
on
borderline?
I think you're trend setting right now.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
And it's
What products do you recommend?
Oh my gosh, there are so many. I think it just comes down to understanding that there's different products for different things. A lot of us just like take hairspray and we're like, oh, we're done. But there's actually memory products that we need to put in our hair to help the memory hold of the curl. And that starts before you even put the curl. And before that, there's foundation products. So there's foundation products that you put in to like prep the pH of your hair. Then and thermiques, because you always want to heat protect. Then there's memory products that you put in that will help hold the curl, and then there's finishing products, which would be the hairspray. So when you really talk to seasoned hairstylists that are doing event hair all day long, they use less hairspray and more of the foundation and memory
Interesting.
products.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
What's your favorite memory product?
That is a really great question. I'm trying to like think of the brands that we carry in the salon and think of one of them, but honestly my go-to, and we don't carry it in the salon anymore, is the Bumble and Bumble thickening spray. Is legit
that's a good
good
one.
for hold and for the events.
So you put that on first before you do anything else.
No, so I mean, I would probably put in like a foundation, like pH balancing product, like or like a thermique, and then blow dry the hair, and then that is a product that you can put in wet or dry. But for events, we will actually take and each section will spray with the thickening spray and then curl it, and so you hear a little bit of that sizzle and crisp, but that's just the product sizzling. But to be honest, I am the makeup artist of our team. I am not even the hairstylist. We have so many
No,
talented
but thickening
hairstylists.
spray is where it's at. It's
Yeah.
it's like your secret weapon.
Yes.
Did not know
It
about
really
it.
is.
Oh,
yeah, you gotta get
Yeah. We order it like in liter sizes and just like fill up our team's stuff because it's
Cool.
really popular. And then lastly, I almost forgot the party pony. The party pony is really in this year.
What is that?
It's like that kind of fun pony that's like pieced out and textured and like big.
Oh, I like that.
Can
Like
you
right
wear
at
it
the
on the
crepe.
top? Or
Not on the top. It's more on like the crown.
Okay.
Like right
But should
here.
you slick back into that party pony, or do you want to have like?
Well, if you want to be like where it's at, you do a middle part.
Oh God.
Right? If you can sport a middle part, apparently you're
Into
really
a
in.
party pony? So you go down the middle and then back up here?
We forgot the timer. Oh my gosh, we could talk about beauty all day long. So thank you. Sorry.
So much
Thank you for being on this journey with us. This has been a really fun segment, and when we come back, we'll talk about motivation, inspiration, and what keeps us all going as individuals, moms, businesswomen, and tune back in. And we're back. I promise to watch the clock this time. We're going to stay on our timeline. Welcome back to segment 2 of this week's Girl Time in Reno. We want to take a moment and acknowledge the gorgeous flowers in the room. Thank you so much to Chrissy Perry with Quality Events and Design. You're so talented, and the way that you support our project means so much. And for the viewers watching, talking about bridal creatives, Chrissy is so talented. Her and her entire team will have your wedding looking gorgeous. Not only do they do bridal arrangements for it of flowers, but they also do coordination and event planning. So make sure and keep them in mind if you're planning a wedding or any other special event that you might need florals for. Also, we want to take a moment and, of course, thank our amazing production crew, Ash Sobey and the Our Success team. Thank you for coming every week and filming, and we promise we just keep getting better and better. Minus the timing, boo-boo. So for today's second segment, I thought it'd be really fun and just meaningful, to be honest, because I don't want to just talk about service level stuff on the show, but to talk about motivation. And I know it's such a broad, thank you. I know it's such a broad topic to think, okay, how are we going to talk about motivation? But it's something that we have to work so hard in our daily lives, right? Because sometimes life takes over and, we can have the idea of something special, but to get that energy, to get it to fruition, it's a process. And so I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to talk to you, Destinee, about your beautiful business, Code Coffee. Will you tell our viewers a little bit about Code Coffee and your concept for it and how you came up with the idea?
Yeah, Code Coffee, we are a local coffee shop, and we are geared to first responders, to the military, to the men and women who serve our city, who get up every single day, nobody asks them to do it, and they go out there and they do it anyways. So I come from food and bev, and I worked for the biggest coffee company that you can think of for a really long time. And I left there, and I ran a restaurant for years, and I missed that aspect of like the everyday life of people coming in, and I knew what they did for their work. I knew what their kids' names were. I knew what time they were coming back later, and they weren't going to tell their husband, they weren't going to tell their wife, like, oh, like, I'm going to pay with cash the second time, so nobody knows that I'm going to this coffee shop 3-4 times a day. I just missed that when I was at the restaurant. So I knew I wanted a coffee shop. I thought it was going to look like these beautiful flowers. I thought it was going to be pink and girly and cute, and my husband is a Reno police officer. My father's a Reno police officer, so I was kind of raised in that world with military as well. And when I was getting ready to do it, I just thought, my guys need some support. They need some real support right now. So I was trying to bridge this gap between these two worlds. So there's the community who looks at these men and women. And usually when you're seeing an officer of some sort, it's not your best day. Something is happening where you either called them to come and help you, or they just need to be there to help you for any other reason. But I also wanted these men and women to see that their community backs them. So I'm trying to bridge this gap between the two, that you don't have to be in law enforcement. You don't have to be a part of law enforcement family. You can just be an outsider, and you can love and care and respect these men and women. And these men and women love and care and respect you back. So we're trying to build like a watering hole, and I think it's gone fantastic. So,
I love that. And
yeah.
so you're located on...
We're off of Wells in Ryland. So
Okay.
300 South Wells.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I've been there. And when you go in,
Yeah.
it's so welcoming. Everyone's
Oh,
so
thank
friendly.
you.
It's a really big open space, which I love
Yeah.
because there's always a place to sit, which
Yes.
means a lot to me. As
Yes.
You know, I do a lot of work there.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll do business meetings.
Yeah,
and
and parking. I always have parking.
Yes.
That one's always hard too, whenever you're getting towards like Midtown and whatnot. But yeah, no, you have. You've come in, and I thank you so much for that. We are expanding this year, and we're doing
Yes,
all
tell
this.
us about your second location.
So it's going to be in Sparks, and I can't really say where it is at the moment, but yeah, we just signed for it today, so we're
And
really
it's a
excited.
drive-through.
It's a drive-through only, so no cafe. If you are wanting a cold coffee experience, but you want to get in and get out, this is going to be your spot. So,
Awesome. And
yeah.
are you still doing the program where, because, you know, not being a first responder or someone in law enforcement or in military myself, I still love to go to Code Coffee
Yeah.
because I love what you're supporting and what you're doing for our community.
Yeah.
And I remember I went in and I could purchase a cup of Joe for another like law enforcement agent that would come in or something, and so like the community kind of has this pot, right, where people can
Yeah.
come in. And
Love that.
are you
So-
still doing that program?
We're still doing it. So, you know, when you would go into a coffee shop and you go, hey, here's $10 and I want to pay for anyone that comes in after me, or I want to pay for anyone in uniform that comes in. We have a program called Cup for Joe, and you can donate any amount to it you want. It could be 5 cents, it could be anything. And so what you're doing is you're prepaying for the men and women that come in uniform. Those are nurses, firefighters, police officers. It could be our garbage men. Anyone who comes in to serve the city, we try to hand out as many smiles as possible, and it is shocking to see what one free cup of coffee does for your day.
Oh,
It is,
I love
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Now, can I drill back? I want to talk about your moment of inspiration
Yeah.
for, you know, I heard you say that you were trying to come up with a way to support law enforcement, and, you know, you wanted to create this environment for the community to come behind it. But on the other hand, originally you had the vision of a beautiful feminine coffee shop place. So do you remember, like, was it a moment in time where you were standing in your kitchen and all of a sudden you had an aha light bulb, or was it something that slowly turned into an idea? How did that come about for you?
To be honest, I watched my husband slowly during a certain time deteriorate, and started to feel like his community that he was going out for every single day didn't want him. And I thought, no, they do. They love you. Everyone loves you. I mean, we need you. We can't live in this world without you. And it was slow, and I was still looking for that cute, pinky little, you know, coffee shop that I always want to go to. And I just saw something in his eyes where I thought, I wonder if there's some way I can show you. It's not just me. It's not just because I'm your wife. It's not just your sister. It's a whole world outside of where we live and outside of your home. And a lot of these men and women, they go to work and they go back home, and that's it. And they don't really like to be out and about in town, and they don't want people to know that they're officers, or they don't want people to know who their families are. And so I just thought, maybe I can create like this second home away from home, or like this haven for them where they're always welcomed and they always feel like everyone in here gets it. And you don't have to be in it to get it. You just get it. And he just needed it. He needed it more than anything. And it just, it slowly turned into that. And then it was like, oh, if I feel like this and I'm your spouse, I'm sure there's a ton of other spouses who feel the same way. I'm sure there's a ton of other military men or vets, firefighter wives or whatever, where they need it too. And I thought, well, duh, the coffee shop. Like, it doesn't need to look the way I need it to look. It needs to look the way the community needs it to look. Which was
so
Code.
beautiful. Such a passion project. Do you see why I love supporting Destinee and Code Coffee?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being on here and sharing your story. And it makes me think of you, Shonda, and the beautiful park project that you have right now.
Oh,
and
thank you.
yeah, I know that you've talked about it previously, but for any viewers that are just watching, can you give it just a little snippet of maybe what the park project is and how that inspiration came for you? And then also give us an update. We want to hear about what's going on.
So God works in mysterious ways, right? Yeah. So it's kind of like that. But Paradise Park really needs our help because during COVID, people, if you didn't have a place to live, you could shelter in place at the park. And it turned into, as you can see from the river, it's turned into a homeless area. And that community is predominantly seniors and children. So for me, we have our store there, but I started seeing I saw the park just really deteriorate and get worse and worse. And my first concern was the children. It really was, because I'm a mom. Mm-hmm. And so I was thinking, how do we have this gorgeous park and we don't have any children here? So a series of things happened, and thank you, shout out to Mayor Hillary, thank you so much. I've been in contact with certain members of the community, and they've really been, listening, and they've been acting as much as they can because there's so much going on. I mean, they can't just go like this, right? But I did meet with Amy Jones, and I have my little cheater here, with Reno Housing Authority. And what the Reno Housing Authority did was they did a survey. I had suggested they survey the residents there, and those are seniors. And out of the 250 residents there, they had over 100 people that replied. And Amy Jones, who is really great, she was like, oh, I was so surprised by it. And I'm kind of surprised by it too. They all came back. Most of them came back. I would say 99% came back with the park's unsafe, too many homeless, too much crime. And so the city is listening, right? And so we can address that from a place of the residents. So that's exciting. And then a woman who watched the show by the name of Maria Fernandez, and she's with the Reno Transportation Commission, RTC. They're doing a project there, a Wells beautification project. And so she reached out to me, and she said that she's on board. She wants to walk the park with me and Bonnie Weber as soon as Bonnie can, because again, everybody's super busy. But I anticipate this project, a community project, coming together and we changing it, because we're looking, and I love our police. I love Soto. He is patrolling the area now too to make it safe. And I do believe that that park is going to turn around for our children, because during COVID, as a mom, I look at these children and I think, my children never had to worry about that. And they're such well-adjusted females now. And these poor kids, they're in fear. And that doesn't sit right with me. And it's too close to home, right? It's the park by my store. So
yeah.
And
so
last week they cleaned up on the other side of Spark, so it seems like they're slowly going up.
they're cleaning.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah,
exciting.
you're
They're
making a
listening.
difference.
Well, I think the community's making a difference. Certainly, the show is making a difference because they're listening, which is great. And I understand that they're going at the time that they can. You know, of course, I'd like it to go faster, but it's all God's time. And they are working. The park looks a lot better.
That's awesome. So, talking about inspiration and motivation, how long have you been working on this project?
Oh, I don't think very long. I don't really know.
Like, are we talking 2 months,
Probably
6
about-
months?
No, not 6 months. Probably like 2 months and stuff. And again, I'm just kind of putting one stiletto in front of the other. It's kind of like with the tampon drive. I never put on a drive. I didn't know what I was doing. And I just put like one stiletto heel in front of the other, and then boom, here we are. So I feel very grateful that we live in a community where our leaders do listen, and that everyone else is on board. And it's just that kind of thing where we have to bridge it and figure out when everybody can come on board.
Yeah.
You know?
So what's next for the park? Are you going to be doing, I know that you had said at one point you wanted to do certain walking areas and maybe have a garden.
So right now, there's cleaning it up. right? And so I'm kind of at a pause with it because, again, there's a lot of different things going on. There is money coming in. I read something, but the governor had some money coming our way. So it's just kind of figuring out where that money can be allocated, and then just going forward from that. And then I'll start a Facebook page, Save Paradise Park. And I think that I was thinking, how would that be a fun page? It would be a fun page if people started sharing their stories about Paradise Park.
Yeah.
Because there's so many memories at that park. So it's just kind of slow going. In full disclosure, I don't have Wi-Fi in my house. So that's in that.
I was trying to keep my cool.
I'm gonna have Wi-Fi Monday. But so that's been one of the reasons why it's been kind of slow.
That needs to be a whole nother segment.
Yeah. I don't have Wi-Fi.
Well, thank you for sharing your journey with us. And I think that in my experience, sometimes it's hard to stay motivated and inspired to go every day. But what I'm hearing you say, that it's really collectively the community and other people that are starting to come on board with the project that is keeping it going and keeping it living.
Yeah, everybody wants that park to survive, and everybody enjoys the park. And once we get to where we need to be, we're going to open it up, and it's going to be amazing.
So viewers, if you're watching this, share with us what you're passionate about, how you stay motivated in your projects. Let us come support you, and invite your friends to support you, your community to support you. That's really, in my experience, the best way to just stay forward moving. And thank you for joining this segment of Girl Time in Reno. When we come back, we're going to have a fun segment with Bella talking about today's latest news in pop culture, and maybe a little bit of PPP thrown in there randomly. PPP meets celebrities. Welcome back to Girl Time in Reno. For our last segment today, we want to first take a moment and acknowledge Bella. This is Bella's last show for a little bit. She's going to be back, but she's going to go have her baby. So congratulations.
Thank you. I'm 36, almost 37 weeks, so I just want to spend some time with my little one and my husband, because we all know how hard it is in the beginning. But I want to thank all of you for being honest and cool and raw. People think that they could come and they can do this, and this is really hard because obviously we've seen comments and people could support us, but other people are ready to bash us, and they don't even know us off of like one little thing they've heard from us. So it's been a pleasure to be with you guys, and Ash Sobe and everybody, our Success Media, just killing it. Yes. You guys get here before, and you guys stay here afterwards, so you guys are really the MVPs.
Yeah.
Yes. So thank you for that.
Yes.
Laura, thanks for having me on. Shonda, thanks for recommending me. You're going to do great. Destinee, Marva. I still will be on The Vibe, 95.5 The Vibe, so until I actually give birth, you could still listen to me live 10 a.m. until 3 p.m.
What if you go into labor on air?
Well, then I guess you'll have to hear it, right? Good girl.
Speaking of your pregnancy, you've talked about that you haven't really had the best pregnancy, and it's something that people don't always talk about. And I want to give you the platform if there's anything you want to talk about with that, and speak to any of our viewers maybe out there who.
I wish we could normalize not liking pregnancy. There's some women that absolutely love it. I absolutely hate it. I really tried to enjoy it this time because I know that this is going to be my last one. I try to enjoy the kicks and everything, but I didn't enjoy the nausea. I don't enjoy walking like a turtle. I don't enjoy not being able to shave my legs, and I can't sleep comfortable. So
it's interesting that you say, though, like normalizing not liking pregnancy, because I've never personally experienced or witnessed where there's like shaming for not liking pregnancy. But do you feel like that exists?
Yes. People look at me like I'm a bad mom because I say I hate being pregnant. Because there's other women that would love to experience what I'm experiencing. I get it. But I just personally, it's been hard. It's always hard. And so I just feel.
I think that not enjoying being pregnant doesn't make you ungrateful for the opportunity to bear a child.
But people take it that way.
They do. I would agree. And like the things people think are okay to say, right?
Right.
Like we've talked about this, like the things people say to moms, and it starts like, as soon as you're pregnant, are you going to breastfeed? I'm like, you're just standing next to me at the grocery store. Why are you talking about my boobs? Like, who are you?
And the pressure to breastfeed, there's some women that just can't.
Right. And then the pressure to have the baby and not have a C-section. Like, did you have it naturally? Remember we were talking about this, and I'm
Right.
like, no, you didn't. Like, it is all like. I think that we're causing women a lot of undue stress and making postpartum more stressful,
Right.
Because we're putting so much pressure on the birth experience. And I mean, like, I had a C-section the first time and had PTSD from it, and then went through this whole experience of having a VBAC, and like poured hours of research into it, and hired a doula, and like looked at insurance company history and the hospitals and the surgeons, and why is there such a high rate of C-sections in this country, and maternal death in the US is higher than any other country because we're having any other developed country, because we're having so many C-sections, and it's a major surgery. And after I had my baby the second time, and I did have the VBAC, and I didn't get there in time for an epidural, so go to the hospital. And afterwards I realized, I'm like, the moral of the story is I left the hospital 2 times with a healthy baby and a healthy mom.
Right.
And that's all that
Yes,
matters.
that's all
And that's
that
all that
matters.
should matter.
Yeah, and the pressure to get back into shape. Like, we're looking at social media, and we're looking at these women that have had babies, and they have trainers, and they have chefs, and we expect to lose the 30, 40 pounds that we've gained in a week. And that's just not, it's unrealistic.
And it shouldn't be your priority.
It shouldn't be your priority,
never
but
gonna
you
get
want
this
to
time
because
back with
people are
your
just
baby.
looking
Look,
at you. It's,
when I had my babies, if this, maybe this sounds vain, but that sent me into depression.
Yes.
When I was able, for the twins, and I had the mask, so that's, the whole skin color changes, the nose
melasma.
gets white, my neck is looking like a zebra, and I'm just huge, right? And so you have these babies, and the first time I looked in the mirror, it just terrified me. I was like, no pictures. I want everybody, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, it was so devastating. And that's what sent me into depression after the boys. Like, just the hormones just all over the place. And they're like, it's going to take some time to get back to being normal,
Yeah.
And so if anyone's listening and they're pregnant, I really encourage you to talk to other moms, because postpartum is real, and you may not think that you have it, especially in the Hispanic community. It is such a stigma. I remember feeling a certain way, and my dad said, it's okay, because my baby didn't want to be with me, and I didn't want to be with my baby. I didn't feel that connection the first time, and that's normal. And I remember my dad just being like, it's just because you're not used to it. No, it's because I was suffering from postpartum, and I entered these mommy groups, and I realized that I'm going through what all these women are going through. And so if you are pregnant, talk to other moms, get in a mom group. Trust me, like, you're going to be so thankful. You think you have it bad, there's somebody else that may even have it worse than you. And you're going to be like, your baby's not sleeping, it's colicky. There's other moms going through the same thing.
And to your point, Shivani, when you were talking about, all the pressure that we're putting on people and the stigmas and the inappropriate conversations, I think part of the problem is, too, there's a business around birth, right? Like, people make a business out of it. They make a business out of selling products to moms, telling them that they need to look a certain way, or they make a business out of creating blogs, and ads and stuff for breastfeeding or bottle feeding, or all the consumerism of all the products. And I remember when I went and registered for when I had Ava, and back when Babies R Us existed. Ava's 9. But I remember going into the store and doing the registry. And so for today's moms, the bit similar experience would be doing it on Amazon or whatnot. But at one point I felt so overwhelmed because I felt so inadequate. Like, how am I supposed to choose, this car seat or that car seat, and this thermometer versus that thermometer? And like, I'm a pretty strong woman. I'm pretty capable of like taking on, like really incredible tasks. And that one just brought me to tears. And I called my mom and I'm like, I don't, know which products to choose. And I'm so overwhelmed. And she said, all you really need are like onesies and diapers and, your boob or a bottle.
Yeah.
Like, the baby's going to be fine. It doesn't even need all of that stuff. And it just kind of like brought me back to center. And she was right. And it just gave me different eyes to look at and so when people are having these conversations with us, it's because what are they reading on social media? What is, what are the messages that are being sent to them through traditional advertising, social media? And it just, so thank you, Bella,
pregnant, right? You love being pregnant.
I did love being pregnant. Yeah. And I was at the time at the heaviest I had ever been when I got pregnant. So that was really hard because I remember one woman saying to me, I said, "Oh yeah, I'm pregnant." She goes, "Oh yeah, I was wondering, I noticed you were gaining some weight, so I thought you must be pregnant." And I'm like, "I'm 8 weeks along. Thank you." But even though I was at my heaviest, as I went through the whole pregnancy, I've never felt more beautiful than having life inside of me. And I just chose to, just embrace it. And I have a theory too, which could be wrong, but I think that I also enjoyed pregnancy because I think when you're larger, you're already used to being large, so it's a little less uncomfortable. Because a lot of the complaints I hear from pregnant women are, "Oh my gosh, I can't sleep and it's so uncomfortable," and it's like, I already got that down. We're good. But yeah, I've never felt so beautiful, and it definitely was an honor. But I try to be really respectful when I hear women say, "Oh, I don't enjoy being pregnant." I'm never one of those women that's like, "Oh, but you should be grateful," and so.
Yeah, what is it? Why the shame? I don't understand the shame that is around pregnancy, childbirth, and then even after. My best friend's about to have a baby, and she's deciding to close her salon, and she gets to stay home with this baby, and she's so excited, and she has felt so much shame from some of the people that come in, and why? Why would you do that, or how? And the best I could come up with is sometimes we either get not jealous, but we put our own lives on other people.
Yeah, or people are just consumed with being right, and they think they're being helpful.
Yes, helpful.
And because they've done all the research, even breastfeeding. I remember when I had my daughter, I was like, "Oh, I'm going to breastfeed," and I breastfed her for 14 months, and I did all this research. And then I had this one friend who didn't breastfeed, and I asked her, "Oh, why aren't you breastfeeding?" And she said, "Because I was molested, and so I, really struggle with anyone touching my boobs." And that just put me right in my place, and I realized, wow, like all that research doesn't matter. I think I'm being helpful, and I just hurt my sister, my friend, And so I think sometimes we don't think about that, and it's that needing to be right.
Well, when I had children moons ago, there was pressure to be a career woman and be a mother. And it was there was a shame if you were building a career. So what did I do? I felt like I had to build a career. And then I came into fear with, oh my God, if my husband dies, I have to be able to support my children. And so I was motivated by that. And looking back on it now, given the chance, I would have stayed home with my daughters. And my sister homeschools, she does such a brilliant job with my nephews, that I would do that now. But hindsight's everything, Yeah, so I'm all about, Mom, if you want to stay home and be an at-home mom, do it.
Yeah.
Stay home. And it's just crazy that my daughter, I have a 21 and a 23-year-old, that I would think that now. To pursue a career for what? I don't even do that anymore.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Bella. This has been a really great topic. If you're a mom or pregnant woman or not a pregnant woman and you have thoughts and topics or thoughts on this topic, please leave a comment. Tag someone. And Bella, we have just a couple minutes left, and you had a really interesting little pop culture tidbit to share with us about Tom Brady. And Tom Brady is a football player.
He's the GOAT.
The GOAT.
He's
Okay.
the greatest
Yes.
of all
He is the
time.
GOAT.
And we have to say he is the greatest
to
of all
give it
time.
up.
He's
a quarterback,
proved it.
right?
Yeah, he just proved it. He just won Tampa Bay.
He's laughing at
I don't know anything about sports, and now that I know more than somebody.
He just proved that he is the GOAT. Okay, he just won a Super Bowl. Last year, he signed a $50 million contract.
What?
Yes.
Okay, but get to the juice.
Okay,
Get to
and
the
his
juice.
wife
3
is
minutes.
Giselle Bundchen, and he received the PPP loan, which was going to small businesses, and he received $960,000. So right now, there is a petition going around for people to sign. There's over 160,000 signatures where people think that he needs to give that money back.
Yeah,
Because he's
absolutely.
financially okay.
Tom Brady applied for the PPP.
I don't know if he applied. I don't know
his
if somebody in
people
his company applied.
Okay.
But
and got 960,000.
Yes, and then right after it came out to light, because the list came out of everybody that received it, he bought a yacht.
What?
He bought a yacht. So I just wanted to bring this out because I signed the petition because I think he should give
it
some of
back.
that money to
He should
small
be
businesses.
fined
He should,
for applying. Like, not only should he give it back, he should be penalized.
but he
That's
wasn't the
horrible.
only one that received it. Kanye West received about $2 to $5 million. Joel Osteen, that doesn't pay taxes in his church, received millions of dollars. So
Instead of giving it back, it would be great if they went to every small business in their community and actually handed it over to them hand to hand.
Like, help them
yeah.
They
out.
would
There's
never
actually
do
people-
that.
Impact
I
on
know,
small business has
unfortunately.
been like catastrophic.
I never
Catastrophic.
received
Right.
my PPP, so
What?
I would love a tiny piece of that.
But there's
Yes,
actually people that
please.
think that he deserves it because he is a taxpayer and he does pay his taxes and he probably gives more taxes than the average Joe.
And his career was really harmed by COVID. It took him a minute before they could like figure out how to air football again or something,
Yeah, so
right?
if you guys want, maybe Ash, you could put the link on the bottom, and if people want to sign it, they could sign it. It's on change.org. I just think it's wrong. It's
Yeah,
wrong.
it is
It is
wrong.
wrong.
It is wrong.
It
You
is
know?
They don't need it.
Well, you know, with the first round of PPP, when it came out, there were all these overseas companies that got PPP. Harvard got PPP, a lot of big businesses. It was horrible. And in the second round, I haven't seen as much material coming through. I know that they structured it differently so smaller businesses could apply first, but there are still big businesses getting PPP that shouldn't. It's
And
really
universities
sad.
shouldn't get it either because they have endowments. So
Yeah,
like Harvard,
agreed. Yep.
please.
Yep. But on that
Enjoy
note,
your
we're going to end this segment. If you have thoughts about PPP, you want to share your PPP story, please drop it in our comments. We'd love to hear. Let us know how we can rally and support you and your small business. And thank you for tuning in to this week's Girl Time in Reno.